I'm with that division with 3 teams ahead of them that made the playoffs last year. We'll see what Caleb can do in year 2. Let's head to Dallas now, where the Cowboys are less than 2 weeks away from heading to Oxnard for training camp, where all eyes will be on Dak Prescott, who will be given the full go for camp after missing 9 games with a hamstring injury last season. With health now on his side, Dak's been able to look ahead to growing the connection with his new wide receiver duo. Listen to what he had to say.
To be the guy that gets to get them the ball, it's exciting as hell because you can turn on the OTA tapes and one of the guys, the ball's in the air and the other one's got his hands up celebrating already. We just got to continue to grow that and continue to make sure that that's trending the right way.
Still has CeeDee Lamb, and they got George Pickens from the all-in Steelers. Are you more optimistic or skeptical about how this is going to work?
First of all, Dak can pull off a bucket hat. Very few people can. Very few people can. I am pessimistic for a couple reasons. On the field, this can work. George Pickens, you look at his numbers as far as stretching the field, vertical routes, he's one of the 3 best in the league since he entered into this league with the Pittsburgh Steelers, which, by the way, had quarterback issues. Off the field, that's where I have concerns. Number one, if Mike Tomlin offers you a skill guy in a trade, hang up the phone, block his number, never talk to him again, because he's usually going to win that trade. But then you think about the Cowboys and how they manage their contracts, how they play games, how they play out the string and seem to be, as Dominique has said many times, programming a reality show with how they deal with contracts. George Pickens is entering the last year of his deal. He's going to want to get paid. He's going to want to have the ball in his hands. This has the potential for off-season fireworks a lot.
A lot of offseason fireworks. You said quarterback issues, and that was a very subtle move by you, Kevin. He has had terrible quarterback play in Pittsburgh over the course of his career. He has the second lowest expected catch rate per the NFL's Next Gen Stats, which has been around for almost a decade, of any quarterback or any receiver over the last 3 years. And he has the 6th highest catch rate over expectation. He has been doing more than other wide receivers would do in those same situations. And it is a bad contract spot, but for me, this is not about re-signing with the Cowboys. This is about signing elsewhere for George Pickens. This is an audition. If there's ever a reason for him to be on his best behavior in a pass-happy offense, would it not be this year with the Cowboys?
He'll get right on that.
What do you think, Meek?
Yeah, I mean, I think Dak's been awesome when he's coming off of injuries, and I think we underappreciate how good a quarterback he's capable of being, particularly when you give him talent on the outside, which he's going to have this year. And I think Kevin's probably right. It does spell trouble for potential off-season issues, but we ain't at the off-season yet. We're talking about the regular season, and I think the off-season gets a lot easier if the regular season goes well. It's an uphill battle because that division is tough and getting tougher with the emergence of the Washington Commanders, but I think Dak and that talent on the edge, with him having the freedom of some health and a new head coach, I think it becomes more Dak's team, and he puts up big numbers, and the receivers, both of them, are happy.
You mentioned Dak does win big when he's coming off injury. After missing the final 11 games in 2020, he went 11-5 the following year, and then after missing the final 5 games in 2022, he won 12 games and threw 36 touchdowns the next year. So if the pattern holds, Kevin, Dak should have a monster year, don't you think?
Yeah, if he's healthy. But that's true of a lot of guys.
If he's healthy, are they good enough on offense for him to have to add to this kind of chart?
Yeah, this kind of chart. I just don't see a ceiling as a team that's significantly higher than it has been the last couple of years. They're the 3rd best team in this division. I don't see any way they close the gap, not only with the Eagles, but with the Commanders. That's just a more talented roster in Washington right now. So I think Dak's going to have a vintage Dak year, and it might not matter. That's the unfortunate thing for the Cowboys right now.
Couldn't run the ball, couldn't stop the run for most of last year. They fix any of that?
I think they fixed the run defense. I think they have a better defensive coordinator in place in Matt Eberflus, who maybe stretched a little bit as a head coach in Chicago, but a very good DC in Chicago and Indianapolis. My concern, of course, is Dak staying healthy. That offensive line was inconsistent last year. I know they added another first-round pick to that mix. That offensive line is going to decide how the Cowboys' offense goes, how that team goes. Most often, when they're good, their offensive line is good.
Yeah, the offensive line made up almost exclusively of dudes named Tyler. Nick, what do you think about the Cowboys this year with Dak back healthy?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the major issues last year you alluded to was like how bad the defense was, and frankly, it can't be that much worse. Like, it's impossible to be worse than they were last year, particularly at stopping the run. So I think an improvement on the defense is inevitable, and that gives them a lot more room to work. And of course, Michael Parsons, I assume he's going to get his contract extension on day 1 of the season because that's the Cowboys' way, and he'll ball out this year and put up big numbers, or maybe they don't extend him at all, in which case he he might break the single season sack record.
Yeah, it was Washington to tell you they'd be happy right now with anything less.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt the NFC East has gotten a lot more competitive due to a lot of the things you guys are talking about. The one thing about the Eagles that I would say maybe could go against history here is that Howie Roseman has drafted so well. So even though they lost a lot of these key players in the Super Bowl run, they've got so much depth. Now, another team looking to make sure the Eagles don't repeat as NFC East champions are the Cowboys. And quarterback Dak Prescott spoke yesterday about the addition of George Pickens.
Great dude, loves his teammates, and excited as hell for this season. I know he is. I know he's happy to be in a fresh new spot, and I'm excited for what he's going to do.
How long do you think it'll take you two to get on the same page?
Not long. As I said, having dealt with trades before, whether it's been Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, I mean, you'll turn on that guy's tape. He's getting separation. He's got separation. Even when he's not getting the ball at times, and hell, when he doesn't have separation, he's still making the catches. That it's not going to be hard. For me, it's about getting that ball near that guy and letting him go do George Pickens. And he'll turn on the tape. He's ready to do it.
Shout out to our staff for the subtitles there, because I couldn't hear what on earth he was saying, but you could read it. So Dak's excited about the new weapon on the team. Groz, what are you hearing about how it's going there in Dallas?
Things sound good in Dallas. They're excited, obviously, about Pickens. They're excited about Dak Prescott coming back healthy. This is a team that managed to win 7 games last year after a very slow start and losing their quarterback mid-season. So they have reason to believe they'll be better, getting a lot of key guys back from injury on the defensive side of the ball as well. And the Brian Schottenheimer hire as head coach, you know, it was a head scratcher around the league and among the general public. But inside the building, he's very well liked. And I think the players are kind of fired up to help him make good on his chance. So the vibes sound high in Dallas at this point. Obviously, nobody's lost any games yet. So.
Yeah, I can tell you that the vibes are high. Offensively, with Pickens and CD Lamb, they should be able to score some points. Offensively, Dak can stay healthy. Can they run the football? What's the offensive line going to look like? Zach Martin has now retired. But the biggest question, guys, Graz, D. Wood, you guys know this. The biggest question in Dallas, when you're in that division and the teams you got to go against are Washington and Philadelphia, can you stop the run? Mozzie Smith, what are you going to be like this year in the interior of that defense? The Cowboys got a toughness problem. They got to get a lot more physical. They got to get a lot tougher. And if they can do that, that's going to determine where they go. Offensively, I know everybody likes to talk about the weapons and they can sell tickets and how it looks. But if they can't stop anybody defensively, it won't matter what George Pickens and CD Lamb look like on the outside.
Spoken like a true defensive guy. And you're right, Boog. By the way, in case you guys missed this, I don't want you to miss it because it's really funny. Patriots second-year quarterback Drake May had some fun this week training with his teammates. Check out, we're going to show you a pass in the